Today, I invite all of us to build that future together. Let us be ambitious, but also honest. Optimistic, but also precise. Bold, but also thoughtful. The future AI promise is real. It can help us write a new chapter for Kenya, one where intelligence is embedded in how we grow food, run businesses, deliver services and connect people, but it would demand patience, discipline, and a lot more honesty than the headlines sometimes suggest. The question is not whether AI will change Kenya. The question is whether we will prepare the kitchen well enough to serve a meal worthy of our people.
So Kenya's greatest asset is basically our people. And I dare say our youth. You guys are not the future. You guys are the present. The youth are the present. Because without you, we do not have the innovation, we do not have all these forward-looking ideas.
As Safaricom continues its journey to become Africa's leading purpose and technology company, platforms such as this play and will continue to play a critical role. They will allow us to demonstrate engineering excellence and co-create solutions that are deeply rooted in real needs and designed for real impact. Over the next days, you will experience cutting-edge technologies, hear from thought leaders, and engage in conversations that will not only challenge you, but also hopefully, and my sincere hope, inspire you. Use these opportunities to create, connect, and to collaborate, the very foundation on which Decode is founded. I would also like to appreciate our partners, Huawei, Dell, Microsoft, Google, and Matsumi. They bring global expertise, technologies, and opportunities to our ecosystems, and that in turn helps us scale the impact that we are making in a more meaningful way. The future of digital economies in Kenya is made of Kenya, by Kenya, and it goes without saying, Kenya to the world. Thank you all, and welcome to Decode 4.0. Thank you.
AI is the shift that moves us from reacting to problems to anticipating them. Instead of waiting for a failure, the network can learn, predict, and fix issues in advance. Instead of waiting for a customer to call with a complaint, we can identify a pattern and resolve the issue before it becomes a complaint. But these gains only come when organizations treat AI adoption as a transformational journey, not just technology purchase. AI is not something you plug and play and then wait for magic. It is something you build into how you work, how you think, and how you serve. Most importantly, AI amplifies human potential. When used responsibly, it frees people from repetitive tasks and creates space for creativity and innovation and better judgment. This is what we call augmented work. Across Kenya's workforce, from designers and developers to call center agents and engineers, AI can be the partner that unlocks new levels of performance and imagination. A call center agent supported by a good AI assistant can resolve issues faster with more empathy. A small business owner using AI-driven insights can make decisions that were only reserved for large corporations. That is the promise. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let us talk about where we must be cautious. With all its promise, AI also demands discipline. Its strength depends entirely on data beneath it. Fragmented, biased, or untrusted data leads to weak and unreliable insights. And in today's digital world, trust is carrying a lot of weight. And because AI magnifies everything, including errors, we must anchor it in strong governance. That means clear frameworks for fairness, transparency, accountability, and human oversight. As we reflect on this, we return to that simple image of moving from the kitchen to the table. We must therefore ask ourselves, are our data foundation ready? Are our people ready? Do we trust the system we are building? These are not theoretical questions. They will determine whether increased trust in our institutions, it increases our trust in our institutions or erodes it, whether it creates opportunity or deepens inequality, whether it becomes a tool for empowerment or a source of harm. AI is just not in the horizon, it is already here, but the countries and organizations that win will be those that build patiently, honestly, and with precision. If we invest wisely, the benefits stretch across every sector of our economy. In agriculture, farms can use intelligence to increase yields, optimize water use, and respond to changing weather patterns. In business, SMEs can use data to understand customer better, manage cash flow, and grow beyond their traditional boundaries. AI, often we say it's fourth industrial revolution, but may I say that it is not the fourth industrial revolution. It is the engine that accelerates all the revolutions before it. It can speed up the impact of connectivity, cloud, mobile money, and all in the digital infrastructure we have already built. But seizing this opportunity will require more than excitement. It will require partnerships between telcos and startups, between government and private sector, between universities and the industries. It will require regulation that protects citizens while allowing innovation. And it will require a shared commitment to making sure that AI works for the many, not just the few. That is what we are calling is democratizing AI. The ingredients are extraordinary. The recipes are becoming better and better every single day. The chefs, our engineers, our entrepreneurs, our policymakers, our young people are extremely talented and hungry to build.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Good morning again. How are you, Ni? I feel so much energy in the room. So much energy in the room. Actually, it's enough to see this, witness this, even without saying anything. So, as you've seen, I've just walked in, but in fact, my Nganya is 111. I just dropped and then walked in, but I did rode on Nganya 111. For me, this really talks to the future of Kenya. This talks to the future of our country. To see young, bright, happy faces, especially in an ecosystem that's talking tech, that's talking AI. That to me is really an affirmation of our country heading in the right direction. So today we gather at a special moment as Safaricom marks 25 years anniversary, for which we actually congratulate you, Safaricom, and obviously your foundation. And like it's been said by the colleagues ahead, you've always been purpose-driven and very innovative. And that's how M-Pesa and all these innovations came in. And today, as the CTO spoke, we're witnessing Decode 4.0. I think Safaricom has got a very unique way of regenerating itself, or actually almost like how a snake sheds off a skin and refreshes and has another shade of life again. So there was obviously Safaricom 2.0, or in fact, as I said, a build-up. And eventually, today we're talking about Decode 4.0, talking made for Kenya, talking AI. And obviously, you actually stand as a symbol of how far our digital journey has come. Because the history of Kenya's digitization cannot be said without Safaricom being part of that foundation. This moment reminds us that Kenya is no longer just a pioneer. in mobile innovation, or tech, as the colleague said, but we are actually now builders of intelligent, globally relevant digital systems. The government of Kenya, which I actually represent this morning, firmly believes that artificial intelligence must be democratized. It's not a preserve of a few, it's not an elitist thing, it's actually everywhere. It's dynamic, it's agnostic, it's accessible both in the rural and urban centers, both, you know, whichever language and whichever form that you actually will access it. It must be accessible, it must be inclusive, and must actually be beneficial to all our citizens. So Kenya's greatest asset is basically our people, and I dare say our youth. You guys are not the future, you guys are the present. The youth are the present, because without you, we do not have the innovation, we do not have all these forward-looking ideas. We've got one of the youngest, well-educated populations globally, and AI is opening new frontiers in the creative economy, and we saw some of the activities here, some of the skits that were done by the young people here, from gaming to film, to digital and the sort of creative arts, empowering our youth to compete and thrive globally. And I think you do not need much evidence than to see how active our social media space is in this country. One of the most dynamic social media spaces globally. You will compare yourselves or ourselves with the best you can get in Europe, North America, anywhere. We are as good as the world. And that is because, obviously, of our educated young population, and also a very good network provided by operators like Safaricom. So Safaricom's journey over the past 25 years reflects what is possible with innovation and also purpose. From connectivity to intelligent systems, this progress is part of a broader national movement towards a digitally empowered and inclusive society. And we really, really want to celebrate you, Safaricom, for being part of that enablement since, you know, the whole shift has been going on. As we celebrate this milestone, one truth stands out. Kenya's AI future must be built together. No one can succeed. And some of you actually watch soccer, especially the Premier League. I'm guilty. So it's one of the teams that actually say, never walk alone. I'm not their supporter, but I like the clarion call. So we must build this thing together. We must be an ecosystem. That's why they come out to you. Safaricom is huge, successful and everything. But they say, no, we need the youth, we need these developers, we need these sort of coders and all these guys to come together, because that's where the ideas will come from. And as government, we will provide policy, we will provide infrastructure, as I've said, and industry will obviously drive innovation, all the other players that I mentioned. Academia will build knowledge, because we need that research, we need the new thinking and intuition. And our people will actually then shape adoption and drive the actual activities like what we're doing this morning. Our future will not be imported. We're no longer imported, especially knowledge and especially in this AI space. It will actually be imagined, built, governed right here at home, I dare say. Here is a future that's inclusive, secure, and proudly made of Kenya, that has actually also been enabled by our own very strong partner, Safaricom. Please, let's give a round of applause. I just want to say a few off-the-cuff remarks. I have attended a few AI international conferences in Europe. So the world is actually completely driving into AI. So the ITU, which governs telecommunication services, held a conference in Europe called AI for Good. And my minister also attended another conference in India called AI for Good. So you can hear the language. When you sit in those forums, and I encourage, and I will actually pray that Safaricom, when we are actually going for those trips, please sponsor one of these youth to also accompany us, or one or two of these youth to accompany us to those meetings. We are happy to partner to just make sure, maybe put a competition, and maybe one or two, it must be gender sensitive. Let's get a lady, let's get a young man, gender balance. Let's get them out to actually see. What do you actually see here? We are once again into another scramble, completely scramble. And you can see the world is all set. No one knows how deep and far this AI thing will go, but they know it's changing the world. So we're seeing very early stages of AI. It's not yet done. Very nascent, very early in the curve. So what must we do as a country? I think first of all is to acknowledge the existence and importance of AI. We cannot discount it. And that's why, for example, government has actually come up with the AI strategy before the policy. And I can confirm that our approach to it is not restriction, regulation, and all that. It's actually more open-ended to encourage innovation, to encourage ideas, to encourage that let's actually go get what's going on. The only way you can get to innovate and move forward is actually open system. So it's very encouraging of this sort of a forum like here. And then to really say that not be left out, we must then have ecosystems like what I've seen today, both in private sector businesses, in public enterprises, and universities, so that we train our people, we expose our people to AI very early, and we become really very well skilled and build the expertise very early before we start relying on other people. Because what will happen eventually, you get guys who are very skilled in this space, and then you start referring them as consultants when we all started at the same time. We want the global AI consultants to come from this Kenyan ecosystem. And then finally, which is really my pleasure, is how do we use this thing? And I was giving the analogy of, a driving license. You get trained, you get a license to drive. You probably are lucky to drive a decent car. Some of you maybe, your generation actually loves cars, I know that. It's cars and entertainment. That's it. So you get a Lamborghini or one of those fancy cars. So you decide, obviously you've been guided on the right thing to do. You know road rules, yellow marks, continuous yellow line, sharp corners, all these things. And now, in fact, AI is driving as well. I mean, I was in California, and there's so many unmanned vehicles, including even Ubers. So you literally comes, even passes. There's no human being. They've all been embedded in the cities. It stops. It sees when people are coming in. Time says it's about to take off and goes. So assume you're this human driver, and you've been trained, you've been licensed. Now you've got your Lamborghini, you're driving around. You then really have to decide, am I going to behave properly on the road to do the right thing, or am I going to knock around anybody I see, knock walls, hit other cars and all that? And that's really the analogy of AI for good. So you're being trained, empowered. It's a massively powerful thing. Online, you can do anything and everything, just like how you can do anything on the road. But our urge as government is actually to say, it empowers you first to actually upskill yourself and be marketable, either to run your own enterprise or be employed with enterprises like Safaricom. And once in there, let's use that energy for the good. Let's use that energy for ourselves. Let's actually use that energy for our country, so that we can move our country forward. If you step back, generations before us, our forefathers sacrificed, fought for independence, got us where we are. Our generation must be the digital natives who actually then use digital knowledge and digital power, including AI, to drive this country to the next level. And as you know, finally, I can talk more. Kenya is actually a knowledge and service-driven economy. We do not have many minerals, as you know. We don't have much oil. There's a pit in Turkana, but not enough to drive this economy. We don't have gold like our neighbors. Our gold is here. So we use our power of the mind, we use our intellect, and they call AI amplified intelligence, actually, not artificial intelligence, amplified intelligence. We now amplify that intelligence for our own good. How good will it be that, in fact, we end up exporting many of these youth, like yourselves, across the continent, like what Safaricom is doing with M-Pesa. And Esther, I'm glad about M-Pesa Africa. You get all these guys into all these countries. They're ready, they're ripe. They're not as good as you are in tech, in exposure, in education. Let's conquer Africa. Let's conquer the world with knowledge, with AI, with skill that, in fact, you're very uniquely positioned. I thank you, and God bless you.